What's up, guys? It's me. So, hang on, let me go and shut this down.
Home. Volume.
Wait.
Shut down Windows. Enter. Starting narrator. Desktop.
Alright, there we go. So, what I wanted to talk about was iOS versus Android. What seems to be better for a blind person? Now, to actually be, completely honest, iOS is actually better for blind people because here's the thing. VoiceOver has been a mobile screen reader ever since the iPhone 3GS came out. And heck, it's been a screen reader. It's been a screen reader longer than, it was a little late in the computer market. I mean, when it comes to computers, it was a little late, but it came. In about 2003, there was a prototype version in macOS 10.3 in probably 2002 or early 2003. I think it was called Speech something. I don't know what it was, but there was something before VoiceOver came out. And when VoiceOver was out, it was in tabs instead of a table like it is now. Now, I don't have a Mac per se, but I know about Mac OS a little bit, not too much. Now, when it comes to Android, I may not be front-facing, but I don't care. But I personally, TalkBack is a different story because I think Android 2.3 Gingerbread was around in 2008, 9? Well, it didn't have the ability to be interacted with via the touchscreen. VoiceOver took over that market real quick. I mean, TalkBack has been around for a while, but it wasn't always the gesture-based screen reader that we know of today. It used to be back in the day when a blind person had an Android phone, it used to be, you'll have to give this person the exact model, exact name, exact version of Android. Because I think back then Android phones were all different. But now I think Android phones are a bit more similar. Most of them run Android, 11, 12? Some are going to run 13. Some even run Android 10, I believe. And Android in general is just weird. I mean, not that I don't like it. It's okay. It's okay. I like Android. But I haven't been using it as much as I've used iOS. In fact, I'm an on and off user of it. I'm an on and off again, on again, off again user of Android. Most of the time I use iOS devices like an iPhone. Well, the iPod really doesn't count anymore, but in fact, I don't use that anymore either. I mean, after I found out that uh, in May of 2022 or something like that, that the iPod is officially discontinued, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use that anymore. So I'm like, okay, so now it's just up to the iPhone as the iOS device. Now there is another device that's coming out that I've heard that is going to be running a version of iOS. It's not an iPad, it's not an iPhone, it's another device. An internet device, I think. Probably going to cost a lot of money, as do all of Apple's products. Okay, so back to what I was discussing, or talking about. TalkBack has not always been the gesture-based screen reader that we know of. I do have an Android tablet. I have two Android tablets, one running Android 7.1.2, I think. No. Well, Android 7. I'll say Android 7 because that came out in, 2016. The tablet, I believe, got updates from 2018 to 2020, which would explain the very, very short lifespan. Ouch. On that tablet, I have commentary screen reader on there because I don't know why. But then I have the other Android tablet. It's running Android 11. It's running Android 11. It's not running Android 12, but it's a Samsung Galaxy Tab A7. And it's a 10.4-inch tablet. It was around $230, so it is a bit on the pricey side, but still affordable. It's a sub $300 tablet, and I wouldn't expect much. Like, you don't get Samsung DeX or Bixby. But anyway, just wanted to say that, I have two devices ranging from one bought in 2019. The other one was actually made in 2020. So I don't know why I didn't get that. Maybe because I was not quite into Android then. Probably that. Plus, TalkBack is a RAM hog. I don't like TalkBack too much. I don't like it too much. I don't. It's not my favorite screen reader. I just don't know. Now, when it comes to iOS, okay, so in 2019, I had the iPod Touch 4th generation with 256 megabytes of RAM. Yeah, you heard me right. 256 megabytes of RAM. 8 gigabytes of storage, and I don't know what the other stuff was, but I bet that the battery capacity was under 1,000. Because, I mean, it lasted for like about an hour or two on good battery life, but once I got the 7th generation, I pretty much had it for as long as it has been out, pretty much. From October of 2020, from 2019 to about May or June of 2022. So that was pretty awesome. Now, it came out in May of 2019, but I didn't get it until about almost 5 months later. But it was still relevant. It had 2 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes of internal storage. The battery was barely over 1,000 milliamp hours. It was barely over, I mean, it was a 1,000 milliamp hour battery, or something like that. It was a little over that. Very, very low. I know that the chipset in the 4th generation was the A4 system on a chip. I mean, not system on a chip, but the A4 chip that the Apple A4 chip in 2010. It had the fourth generation had 0.3 megapixels on the front for a front-facing camera, and a 0.7 megapixel back-facing camera. On the 7th generation that I had, it was a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera and an 8 megapixel back-facing camera. It was terrible both ways. Although the seventh generation was better. I do have to say that. It was better. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that Apple is better than Android. I think Apple handles it better than Android would. Even though you cannot put an SD card in an iPhone. Maybe someday you will be, but I don't know. The only way I could see that happening is by having a Lightning to SD card reader adapter or SD card slot adapter. But that's about it. Now, you can hook up external storage to an iPhone. You can do that, but you have to have the right peripherals or whatever. The right stuff to put into it. With Android, you got some devices still have Lightning. I mean, not Lightning. Some devices still have micro USB, and some have USB-C. And it's pretty good about Android. Some of the Apple devices, they have USB-C. The iPhone's probably gonna get it next year with the iPhone 15. You know, my tablet with 960 megabytes of RAM versus the 256 megabytes of RAM on my 4th generation iPod Touch. The iPod Touch, believe it or not, handles things better than an Android tablet with less than 1 gig of RAM. The iPod Touch has a fourth of a gig of RAM. A fourth of a gig. A fourth of a gigabyte or whatever. And it still handles good. It's because iOS is optimized. Android, yeah, it's like a PC. Can't really say the same about Chromebox though. I think it's the same way. Which is why I stopped using Chrome OS. And that brings me to another topic. Chrome OS is about to get some new features, kind of like how Apple does have them. However, it's not good enough. I was on a Mac. And the only way I can is if I'm not really going to say much, but a Mac is like the centerpiece of the Apple ecosystem. The Chromebook is, believe it or not, the centerpiece of the Android ecosystem. Here's what came first. The Android phone, and then the Chromebook. Well, okay. The Android phone, the tablet and Chromebook, and the watch. Also, the Galaxy Player was one of them from Samsung. Oh, and that's another thing. TalkBack probably did not even work on the Galaxy Player, so even if I were to get one, it wouldn't be supported, at least as far as I know. But at least Apple kept their music player alive for pretty much over 2 decades, while Samsung was only able to keep it alive for about 7 or 8 years. Because I heard that the last one was sold in 2016, or the last update for one of them was in 2016. I don't know, but it's one of the two. So yeah, the fact that I think iOS is better for a blind person is, I guess, pretty much why a lot of blind people use iOS. So here's my introduction to both iOS and Android. So in 2010, I was introduced to an iPad, and then I started using VoiceOver a little bit, and then used the built-in web browser, Safari. Yeah. So in about 2015, I got my own iOS device, which I'm going to go ahead and say it was the iPhone 6. And I enjoyed that thing. 2 years after, though, it actually had a battery problem. Also in 2017, I got the iPad that I still have today. However, this upcoming year, or later towards the end of the year, I plan to get a new iPad at some point. May not be at the end of the year like I thought, but probably next year. But I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. Or, well, I want to. I hope I do. Then I talked to someone on Discord in 2019, and they said that they had an Android tablet. It was these RCA Voyager 3. And I went ahead and bought one myself to know what it's like. But I couldn't turn on TalkBack until it was completely set up, so I had to get a sighted person to help me get this done. And I mean, my introduction to like an Android device, I've heard TalkBack on Android before. I've used TalkBack a little bit on Android, a little bit, like not as much, but I've heard TalkBack in person, like the old TalkBack. I've heard it. But then, in 2020, when that tablet got out of date, I really didn't like that tablet because of how small and how kind of slow it was. It was 0.96 gigabytes, so that translates to 960 megabytes, close to 1 gigabyte of RAM, and I'm like, oh shoot, this isn't good at all. So I had to deal with that tablet until February of this year, and then I got my Samsung Galaxy Tab A7. It's pretty good, but I don't use it as much. I don't have a need for using Android that much. See, that's the part where I say it's that I'm an on again, off again Android user. Because I'm not too involved with Android. I don't like Android as much as some people do. Some people, when they run Android, they say it's trash. And Android is actually a bit trashy. Because depending on what phone you get, or depending on what configuration of storage and RAM that you get, like earlier this year, in May of 2022, I had the pleasure of looking at a Android phone for a few days. And I've said in one of the videos that I previously did is that make sure you know your facts before you actually go out and try and do something. Sure, it was a good phone, but a Samsung Galaxy A13 is not the right type of phone for me. So I'm sticking with iOS. I worry about a Mac later in life. I'll worry about an iPad later in life. If my iPad, for some reason, goes out of support next year, hey, I don't care. It may get one more year of support until iPad OS 18. Who knows? But yeah, Eloquence is coming to iOS and iPad OS. Too bad it's not coming to the iPod Touch, which is completely a shame, but oh well. Apple decided that they were going to stop supporting the iPod Touch after 2022, like completely. They're not coming out with a new iPod Touch, which is pretty sad. Real sad. So anyways, I've only had 2 Android devices, one of which both of which I really haven't had too much luck with. An Android phone, not too much luck with either. But no, I'm not going back into Android. No. Because Android is a piece of junk. I really don't like it. It's okay. I'll give it that. It's okay. But not okay for a daily driver. Android is trash. It's complete trash. If anyone would want to use an iOS device under $500, get the iPhone SE 3rd generation. That's about $429. And depending on the carrier, it'll be prepaid. Anyways, this is Ken and I'm signing off. It's getting late. I'm getting tired. I'm posting this tomorrow.